Hey, beautiful ladies. How are ya? I want to share this tree that I am sitting under. I'm here in upstate New York. We spend our summers here at this beautiful property that my husband Rano's family's owned for more than half a century, and more than half a century. And we got a couple more days here before we actually cruise back west, where we spend most of our life, is back in Southern California. And I'm just really grateful to this land and all of the magic that it has helped bring out in me, and the deepening to my own pussy, and the deepening to my own connection to the sacred and to nature. So it's a bit bittersweet. Today's our last full day here on the land, and tomorrow we head into our hometown to visit some family, including my dad, and then we're going to basically hit the road to head back to California. And then it's going to be a wild ride for the next couple months of activity. But in addition to just the reverence and the appreciation I have for this land, I wanted to share with you the potency of what I've been creating here, and to invite and remind each and every one of you the power of nature when it comes to the power of our pussies. So I've touched on some of this topic in episodes past, and you can certainly go back and watch some of those episodes. But one of the things that at the beginning of the summer, I was enrolled in a class that was all about energy reading and all sorts of really cool tools and techniques to evolve and know and feel into the world, from using different tools than we typically do, like sight. We're usually looking, seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, but this course took me far deeper into the realms of the energetics of being able to read things. And one of the many gifts that I received from being in this class was the reminder that when things get feeling overwhelmed, or they feel negative, or any way that I get out of my center, that my higher self, it was a session we were actually working with my higher self reminded me to simply take a moment, if I can remember when I'm in my own little tizzy, to take a moment when I'm in any sort of upset or unrest, or again, out of alignment with truth, and to turn to nature, and to, even if it means just staring at a blade of grass for a few moments, to use that as almost like you would take 3 deep breaths, to basically, 1, pattern interrupt, and 2, come back into communion and connection with nature. And I remember when that came through in the session, in that class, I was like, okay, I see that can be useful, and I get it. And I'm like, clearly my higher self wanted me to know this and was actually communicating this to me. But until I actually put it into practice, I didn't realize the profoundness of how it would impact me. And much like it's what I've also made the correlation is between the importance of doing that and the importance of tuning in to our own inner nature. And the inner nature that has the most potency for me and for women is our pussies. Because our pussies have such a subtle, nuanced way of interacting with the world, that when we are in communion and connection to our pussies, in the moments that we're most feeling out of sorts with ourselves or out of alignment with ourselves, there is valuable information for us to, 1, come back into right relationship and centerness with ourselves, but also to be able to tune our senses to listen more deeply to what's really going on for us. I find that in this culture, in this world, and society, and really around the globe, we are very much taught to seek and look outside to understand. And oftentimes we miss the massive intelligence that our body holds, and for us women especially, our divine portals. And when we can get into practice to reattune ourselves to the subtlest, tiniest, minute connection. So for me, it was like, okay, the blade of grass. And to be like, oh, look at that blade of grass right there that you can't see, but I'm looking at this one blade of grass amongst bazillion blades of grass. And just to take a moment to stare at it, I can see the slight way that it's moving in the wind that I can't even feel right now. Like it feels pretty still. I don't feel, I can see the leaves moving slightly, but to tune in and then to attune to that frequency, which is a very focused, aligned, present, zen place to be, that allows me to shift my frequency from to wow, and to find awe and wonder in just that minute, minor, tiny little motion of this blade of grass, which then of course opens up to whole other possibilities that I wouldn't have even known were there because I was so focused outward on a problem or outward on a situation or an emotional upheaval in my body. And so the same is true for tuning into the subtleties of our pussies. She doesn't scream and yell. She often comes in whispers and wetness, I guess we could say, and openings. And so to be able to, in the moment of, again, or whatever, to remember to come back into the subtle sensations of our bodies and our pussies, to be able to realign us ever so gently and ever so potently. Let me see if there's anything else I want to say on that. It's a practice, and my higher self encouraging me to do that in nature has been an absolute divine tool to remember to do it in my own body, because we are all part of nature. And ever since I've been in the practice of this for the last several months, being in this beautiful land, far away from city energy and chaos energy. I mean, we're literally 45 minutes from the nearest decent grocery store. It's and I don't have all the interference. I've been able to tune in more specifically to messages that I don't know if I would have gotten and otherwise. And some of these messages, like for example, this tree that I just shared with you, this beautiful, beautiful tree here. And again, I shared this video, I don't know, a couple episodes ago, but to be leaning into nature, even for the things, it's getting a little dark here, maybe I'll, whoop, no, that's too bright. Anyways, I've learned that I don't have to, this is the big takeaway, and I think I'll end with this. I've learned that I don't have to be 100% reliant on my own physical doing and efforts to accomplish what it is that I want to accomplish in the world. And while that sounds a little trite as it's coming out of my mouth, because I teach the power of feminine manifestation and ease and flow and pleasure, play, and fun and whole different ways of creating your life without the efforting and the doing, I've also found myself having to do a lot physically over the last couple months, because we have a really awesome event that we're hosting and putting together in a couple weeks, and all summer long we've been creating this event, and there's been a lot of physical required doing needed, and I've been able to balance it. So like for example, one of my roles in this event is, I'm the head of outreach, and it's a curated event. Every single person, it's not like I can just market it out to the world. It's an event for visionary couples, and every single person has to be vetted. Every single person is vetted, and they're nominated. And so it's a massive amount of communication between somebody that's been nominated to then communicating with them and then getting them on our calendar and getting both partners on the calendar, which is tricky. So it's a lot of back and forth, even with, automated links and things like that. And then it's, then it's also, then corresponding and sending them information, and then making sure if they're yes to the event, they have the links to buy, and and so it's a lot of physical doing. And while I've been in the outreach mode, the subtleties of connecting with nature and my pussy, because I've been doing a lot of amazing pussy rituals as well, has taught me that while I can do all this outward outreach using the power of the internet and the tools of technology and communication platforms, it's equally as important to lean into Mother Nature to share and connect through the magical ways that can make happen beyond what I know. So as part of my daily outreach practice, beyond the physical time I need to spend in front of my computer doing the physical outreach, I've been coming out here and sitting underneath this tree and letting the tree know that I have a desire, and infusing my desire into the essence of this tree with my energy, much like the movie Avatar, and allowing the tree to send out through its root systems, which is pretty complex if you know anything about the way that trees communicate with one another and the way that they send signals and messages through the ground, through their roots, through the mycelium, through the neural pathways of basically the underground. It's a pretty powerful communication network happening under there. And I had gotten the hit, and again, I did a whole video on this specifically, to leverage and drop in with the tree so that the tree can help carry my message. So now, while that sounds probably super woo to some of you, maybe not, because those of you in the Pussy Collective probably get it. Those of you who might be watching this on YouTube or might be like, she's a little crazy. But the fruits of that effort, one, it's super grounding for me because I can only take so much time in front of the computer without getting a little like, rah. So it's been my practice to come out and to sit and to be and to connect with, ground myself and to trust that all of the efforts I'm doing is reaching the people that I know they need to reach and getting them to get calendared and scheduled with me and so on and so on and so on. And it's just exponentially creating a ripple effect literally through the field into the field. And it's been really potent and powerful, and there's been a lot of magic in this path for me. A lot of magic, a lot of healing, a lot of deepening, a lot of understanding my own potency, my connection to nature. So I think I covered all that, but for whatever it's worth, that's one of my pussy magic and musings tales that I wanted to share with you, and to encourage you to not be so reliant, if you are, on some of the almost archaic tools of technology, and bring in some earth medicine and earth magic to helping you craft and create your desires, equally as powerful as going out and taking the bull by the horns and getting things done. It's pretty much a balance. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts, and thank you so much for tuning in. And again, this is Sierra Sullivan. I am known as the Pussy Oracle. It also helps me actually be a better Pussy Oracle because I am deeply connected with Mama Gaia, and Mama Gaia is also pussy, from my opinion, from my knowing. And I do these broadcasts every Tuesday at 2:22 p.m. Pacific time, and you never know what's going to come out of my mouth. I'm up to a lot of magic. I have a lot of messages from the portal of life herself, and I welcome you each and every Tuesday, and who knows where I'm going to take these, but come join me, come hang out with me for anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes every Tuesday. And please do share whatever you receive from this and any other medicine and musings and whatnot that you have. I welcome all of your thoughts and opinions. All right, lots of love to everybody. Thank you for tuning in. It's getting hot here. Ciao.